think it's interesting that technically Joe Biden Jr. You know, he's a junior.
He has a junior?
Technically,
what does it say about a man when
he is a
junior?
junior. He is a junior.
Oh, Joe Biden himself.
Yeah, he's been named after his father.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, dude.
So Joe Biden Jr. is Joe Biden the third.
Yeah, yes, technically he is, right? Yeah.
Is the Parmesan cheese Joe Biden, or is this a different?
Parmesan cheese Joe Biden?
Did you hear about him smoking Parmesan cheese because he was looking for crack or something?
Oh, Hunter. That's Hunter.
Biden?
Hunter.
I'm mixing up the Biden boys.
Our pale Hunter, poor guy.
Can't keep the crack smoking.
I was just reading about him poor. I didn't want to drink it brag through the mud. It was like
we don't have to do that. We can just leave it on Parmesan. Make it more about the Parmesan
cheese, which who doesn't love cheese? You know,
it's kind of one of those universals.
Absolutely. And then when you smoke it and a little bit of your crack, it's got to just add that extra nutty, robust flavor.
51% cheese, 49% crack, or 51% crack, 49% cheese. That'd be my recipe.
Official.
Hopefully, right? Hopefully, right? Hopefully, right?
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully, right? Matt, welcome back to the Neverending Becoming podcast.
Wow.
Episode 43.
Our hopes springs eternal today, I guess.
Hopes do spring eternal.
Jeez.
I can't believe it. We're back here. Last year, we didn't get our first outdoor after the corona outbreak, April 20th. I think it was 420.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. And it was a big deal. It was like this whole thing, you know.
So about a week earlier this year, we
cracking it open.
Thank you, global warming.
Global warming. Thank you, global pandemic. Yeah.
So we haven't sat down. I haven't done like any group podcasts or a multiple person podcast in 5 months.
Holy shit.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. It was on election night. That was the last time that we did it, that I remember podcasting. Yeah. We tried to do it on the Jupiter solstice or the Great Conjunction. Thank you very much.
That's right. Yeah. On the winter solstice.
Yeah. And the gods, astrology gods were like, hey, fuck your podcast.
Pass.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
We don't want to hear that. And so I was like,
they told us to farm it to YouTube.
Fair enough.
Put a couple episodes on YouTube, and then maybe one day the gods will reign. Well, man, are we going to go systematically through the 5 months? Do you feel like we should skip the 5 months, just ignore it, and just move on with our lives?
No,
like everyone's going to do after Corona?
I want to day by day go over the minutia of every week. And so here is a list. And I did want to bring like a scroll of all the things and just like kind of throw it out. Yeah. I was looking for particularly fax paper. Remember that old school fax paper with like the punches on the side, and then it would be like
yeah.
I wanted like a whole sheaf, a ream of that, and pretend like all the stuff in 5 months, because it really has been a wild 5 months.
Those pages were perforated, but it was in one gigantic roll.
Yes.
So it was full on scroll mode.
But you could just take your message off and run to the boss with a memo.
He probably invented that with like Jack Kerouac's input, like someone on meth just banging out page after page, just no breaks, no line, just keep on going throughout the whole thing.
Fast communication. That's what humans want. Fast communication.
Have you had a lot of like springtime reunions with people? Like, have you started to come out of your Corona bubble yet?
Sort of, yeah. Not really. This is probably again the first.
This is something for me too, yeah.
But we're pretty tight knit. My group, my family's pretty tight knit, and most of my friends I can game with anyways and get online and talk to them that way.
There you go.
So there's very few people that there's a couple of people that I really can't wait to see and hang out, and give them hugs. But a lot of them are a little older, so it's got to wait. Make sure they're set right and I'm set right. You don't want to just jump back into it. A little older,
they might be waiting for you based on the vaccine schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of, should we say that both of us have...
guys, we're ready to tell you guys right here, right now.
Right after this break, actually, we're going to...
Yeah, no, you and myself, right? We
got vaccinated with the same needle. We were able to... No, but we did get vaccinated. I think even different brands. I don't know if you want to drop your brand, but...
Pfizer.
This podcast sponsored by Pfizer and then Moderna on the left-hand side here.
Great. Yeah, great. Double dose. So if he starts to mutate tentacles and I get like fish gills,
My main concern is the humor genes. Make sure that none of those humor neurons have been affected at all. So just as long as I'm still able to stay fluid here, I could give a damn about the rest.
Fuck. If I lost, you lost something crucial,
Yeah.
Like I said, I was joking with this guy, you got to get a super soldier serum in there, man. One of these vaccines, that's how they're doing it. Just randomly gave somebody some superpowers.
It should be like the Willy Wonka golden ticket, where like 1 out of 100, it's like you'll get unlimited memory.
How many more people would sign up for a vaccine if it was like, okay, 1 in a million, you're going to get something cool in your shot. People are like, Okay, you know.
Actually, you know, we're talking about this like super soldier element. It really should just be like a trip to the Anheuser-Busch brewery. It shouldn't even. It should be kind of more like Willy Wonka,
Yes.
and less like
Yeah.
I don't know, like one of these Marvel movies.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
no, you're absolutely right. Something more, a lot more American and down to earth than that.
Yeah.
You know, I want a year's supply of beer. You know, that seems more up the alley. To the people who aren't getting vaccines, let's just, you know,
Well, I'm typecasting.
maybe throwing some shade here.
I'm typecasting a little bit. I mean, it would be ignorant of me not to. Isn't it like the point of some of these shows to speculate on your behalf? You know, like
Yes, exactly. Right.
say things you're not quite sure of the accuracy or of the correctness in.
Deeply flawed generalizations. That's what I love about this. Just saying shit about things. You know.
You're spoiling the channel's fall lineup here. Deeply spoiled generalization.
No, you're absolutely right though. A lot of ignorant motherfuckers don't want to get this vaccine, and
Although it's trending down, so
Yeah, let's hope.
I think it's just one of those things. Just let the memes keep coming out, let the jokes keep coming out, and eventually, of course, let the health outcomes play out for the people who
Yes.
haven't received any, and
that's
then
what it
it'll
is.
become
Just
pretty
let's look at the
undeniable.
results. That's it. Look at the results, and then if everything's better, then okay, well everything's better. You know,
Yeah.
it's just there's gonna be those people that.
Those people.
There's a percentage of people that are just so contrarian that, you know,
Yeah.
it's just whatever you tell them,
They'll troll the vaccine.
they
man.
can't believe it. It's always the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's just the world we live in. You know, you just gotta do what you do and make the right decisions for yourself and try to put that out there.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna get the vaccine. I'm gonna do the things I'm supposed to
Let
do.
me put something out there. I'm going to take that exact advice here. If you're trolling life-saving technology, get a better identity.
Don't do it,
You're
dude.
going to need something better going on. There's no doubt about that.
Just don't do it. Find
But anyway,
something more constructive with your time. You have nothing constructive to do with your time than this shit. It's like flat earth people. You have nothing more constructive to do than try to educate people on flat earth. Like, really? Like, okay.
Well, it's that or working at the gas station. You know, Matt, so
Yeah.
what else besides vaccination? We just want to let you know we're covered, so we don't have to
we're
spend
covered,
a whole
yeah.
vaccination.
No,
We'll probably
no.
get tagged from YouTube too if we spend 2 more minutes talking
That
about
little
this.
thing underneath it. Please talk to the CDC guidelines. Don't listen to these two fucking schmoes.
Or it's going to be a Johnson & Johnson ad. More accurately, they're going to be like, "Fuck, they said Pfizer and Moderna, but they didn't say Johnson &
I
Johnson."
was just reading that they were saying how the Johnson & Johnson is really good for transients and homeless because it's just one
Yeah.
shot and you're done, and you don't have to go back for a second dose. And I was like, that's pretty interesting.
yeah,
you know?
transients, homeless people, and then inpatient people
Yeah.
all over the world
Yeah.
because you just need one shot, and it's
And
like
that's it.
2 weeks after the first dose, you're
Yeah,
good.
there's no thinking about it. Just get your shot and get out and go boom, and then you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was particularly interesting.
It is. Oh God, yeah. In
Part of the deal is we're gonna have to go to the people that aren't getting vaccines and making sure that the what's the word? The lowest, you know, most at risk people are getting it, right?
Absolutely, and anytime there's like something that's being viewed as a cure, which a lot of these vaccines, regardless of the variety you receive, is kind of being looked at as your cure for this situation.
Yeah.
If you can cut the healthcare time and effort in half, which is 2 doses to 1, why wouldn't you do that?
Absolutely.
You know, it's just needless cost and everything.
It's
isn't
all
it?
about
Shipment,
effectiveness, though.
burden.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. The supply chain.
You want the
and
high
all that.
effectiveness,
Yeah,
that's for
right.
sure.
But I'm sure that they will, you know, this is just the first version of this, you
You're
know, and,
right,
and
yeah.
who knows if, you know, we're going to, in a couple years, we'll have to, the coronavirus will mutate. We'll have to get a different vaccine for it. Like,
They probably just get like those Listerine breath strips that you put on your mouth and it dissolves. You just get one of those for the variants every month or something.
Yeah, cured. It is interesting, though, because, you know, the way this vaccine, not that I'll keep hammering out about vaccines, it's made differently, right? That's like the idea. It's like an mRNA vaccine. The person
mRNA, right,
yes,
for
thank
the
you.
Pfizer Moderna.
Exactly.
This podcast sponsored by mRNA technology.
Trying to educate,
Specifically.
I guess. No, not at all. I don't want to do that.
No, but
shit.
that is interesting though how you have like options in that way.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you can. It's actually hopeful that you can get covered with immunity through different scientific technologies.
Right. It should be a great thing that so many different versions, and that we're so able as humans to find all these different ways to fix this problem. You know, it's interesting.
So let's talk about maybe the rest of the year, hope for the
jeez.
future, right?
Yeah.
Because this vaccine, that's old news. We got vaccine.
Yeah, we're done.
This is.
I'm gonna call it now. Corona's over, everybody. I'm just calling it. This is it. We're done. We'll never speak of this ever again. Just kidding.
If I post this episode, maybe July 1st.
July
then
or August.
statistics might be on our side.
Then yeah.
No, but what do you think? I mean, it did change very fast. The peer pressure for the vaccine specifically too.
Oh, yeah.
The thing I've been saying is it went from like, why don't you wait to sign up to why did you wait to sign up? You know, and then it took like 2 days seemingly.
I think summer.
In my world, I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. For me as well. It was like around the same last week, and it was just like,
But-
let's go.
But when do you think, like, what are you looking at in terms of this wind down in your mind? Like, are you telling yourself, I'm going to be able to live come Memorial Day? That's kind of the government one they keep throwing around.
Yeah, I think like June or July for me. You know what I mean? Like middle of the summer. I feel like then it's gonna be, like you said. I think that the push is that summer's here, and the push is like, okay, summer's here, guys. Let's get going. Let's vaccinate. Let's like.
Well,
move
I
this
kind
along.
of feel like it's going to be over once our window is closed, right? The vaccination window. It's like mid-May.
And that's it.
Maybe.
And then it's it's gonna be interesting. May. Yeah, you're right. Probably by the end of May, everything will be, like
It'll be good
chugging forward.
if we had like 2 weeks before Memorial Day to see one another, so we could have socialization.
Yep.
And we can kind of round off our corners a little bit better, so that once everyone gets too fucking drunk on Memorial Day from not in a barbecue or whatever, then like you at least have some sort of past history that you've been socializing with other people.
Yeah.
If everyone just sees people at a barbecue on Memorial Day for the first time and like there's a bunch of people getting drunk, whatever, it's gonna be like mayhem, chaos.
That's what some people are. That's one of the things that's floating around is that this next year is going to be like the Roaring '20s, and it's just people are just going to go bananas because it's just all the cooped upness and all this like being locked indoors, that everyone's just going to be like, let's fucking party.
It kind of takes like a year to get used to anything, right?
At least.
And specifically with this, it's so rare, especially at our age, to have like a major change in the next year when the following year. Basically what I'm saying is this last year is going to look nothing like the next year. When you switch from like grade school to high school, you have these big phase shifts.
Yeah.
And when you switch from corona isolation to like vaccinated Rumspringa, we're all going to be like entering a new phase of society, but at the same time, right?
I don't think in obviously our lifetimes, but in this like, when was the last time anything like this worldwide event has affected so many people on so many different levels, and then it's just like, okay, let's pause on society. Let's take a pause on everything.
I think it had to have been when Jordan came back to the Bulls and won their second three-peat. That's the only time society, I think, stopped at the level.
Everyone just took a deep breath and was like, Jordan.
He's wearing 45 though. Why does he have? Is that him?
Yeah.
Is that his number?
Yeah.
People like slightly confused, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but you got to get 23 back because all of your money is tied up in 23. So you got to get that back, man.
Oh, so basically the lesson everyone can take at this moment now is don't leave Corona with the 45 on your back. You need to enter with the 23 again.
Hey, like we said, you saw this as an opportunity, as an excuse, right?
Yeah.
You either decided, hey, coronavirus, I'm going to let you beat me down and just use it as an excuse to just do whatever the hell I want because it's the pandemic. I'm just going to get really fat or lazy or, angry, whatever. Or you could see it as an opportunity, like, hey, let's take this pause. Let's reassess what's going on in my life and use this time to, like, do something better. You know what I mean?
I hope that people have been able to savor it. And, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Yeah. So I don't know what
I think we saw
it was a tough year, in terms of overeating, whatever. It's easy when you're eating like shitty prepackaged foods or you're just, using it to control the way you feel.
Yeah.
Because
snacking makes you feel better.
You don't have a friend's insanely funny jokes to control the way you feel.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I just, I like you said, I agree with you. I hope people took it as more of an opportunity. I felt like the last, this upswing of like the hopefulness and the vaccine, people are like, oh, actually, you know what? I only got a couple more months of this. I better start working out because the summer's going to be here and I'm, I need to get myself back together to see everybody, I
got a mental boost when I heard that people our age like had a shot of getting vaccinated or that people were beginning to sign up. After hearing from a few friends that started to sign up. At first it was like a competitive thing. It's like, I can't believe these motherfuckers got signed up before me. Like, this is crazy, So then I was doing the push-ups for that reason. But then after it's like, no, do the push-ups, to, I don't know, be healthy in society with your friends, right?
To rejoin society.
The competitive edge.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the thing though. Competition among, I want to be the first one to be safe. Let me be, Yeah.
And the first one to be unsafe. I'm sure people are already rushing the parties, whatever.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
the future, post-Corona, because we don't have to do all Corona. I don't want Corona to own this podcast, even though it's still forcing us to record outdoors in the safety of our own unvaccinated airspaces.
The future is going to be bright, but the cloud of the pandemic will be over us for a while. And that's kind of what I feel like we're talking about. As much as things are going to be better, it's just, society's fundamentally shifted. We'll see more people probably working from home, or those people that are going to be like, my job is just as easy at home as it was there. Yeah. So I'm just going to stay at home. And, we'll see how things have shifted. Zoom is still going to be huge,
Do you think Zoom, though, because it was so 2020, it was so pandemic, that we associate the pandemic with Zoom now, and we actually just naturally don't use Zoom anymore, and we will FaceTime, or we will Skype, or we will do anything else, just not to get that Zoom meeting name feeling, what's your name? And
No, because Zoom is now has such a big market chunk and people know how to use it that, it won't go away. It's like Google, it's become that acronym. Like, oh, instead of saying FaceTime, I'm going to Zoom somebody.
But it's like the MySpace, like a lot of people our age had MySpace during the lamest years of their lives, undoubtedly.
How dare you?
So like,
just a quick shot of my old MySpace picture.
You exit those lame ass years and you're like, okay, that was like a lame year thing. I don't know if I'm going to be like MySpacing. I'm more of a Facebook guy at this point, okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that when people use it as the descriptor of what they're doing, like, oh, I need a Band-Aid, or can I have Scotch tape, or I'm gonna Google the thing, or let's Zoom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
fun to say.
It is, and I think that it's never gonna disappear. You might see other companies do it a different way, or figure out a way to get that niche in.
Well, that's kind of more what I'm saying.
There might be more platforms.
There's a lot of ways to skin that video cat.
But when you have a giant chunk of the population, especially the older population, not just like young people or 30s or 40s, people in their 50s or 60s are using the Zoom, and then they now know how to use it. It's going to be really hard for them to try to use, the other thing.
Yeah. Plus, they'll probably start trading NFTs on Zoom or some shit. So be brokering cryptocurrencies or
NFTs.
They'll find some way to stay in our hearts.
Beeble and his, get really into it. What was it? Tim Dillon's doing some NFT thing. He's gonna sell. That's the new way of doing it. NFTs, man. It's a new virtual art currency.
So I hear.
And so
I'm still worried about having something to say in life, than like how I'm gonna package it or like put it out. Whatever.
Right? Oh my gosh.
It's like I'm still worried about the message. But.
It's I think it's good because then it allows more artists to sell their work in their own fashion. Right.
Oh yeah, it seems very hopeful. I'm into it.
It's like the Bitcoin. It's like the Bitcoin. It's all on. You're taking the middleman out, I guess, so to speak. In some ways.
Yeah, but it's like on the blockchain, so it's kind of like you constantly have an accountant keeping track of everything.
It's real
giving
weird.
everyone their percentage point, whatever.
It's really weird.
Anyway, I'm sure by the next episode, this will be an NFT podcast.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then the next one we'll talk all about it.
I can just convert it to an NFT though, right?
Sure, you could.
Yeah, come on.
You could convert all of these, and then you could sell them all, and then the one that's the most popular would be the most expensive one, right?
Right.
So people want episode 26. That's the one.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll take all these episodes, nice big TV, 50-inch LED TV, OLED. I'll shoot that with a VHS camcorder, and then I'll convert that back to digital video and make it an NFT. So it'd have like that grainy old school VHS warble and look to it.
You are just hitting all the notes for people right now. That's just exactly what they want to see. People are salivating right now. That's how we make our first million, turn this into an NFT podcast.
Yeah. Or like our Patreon page is just bad VHS film gradient versions of the podcast. You know what I mean? It's like the same exact content, but it's lo-fi or it's got some jackassery.
Part of me knows that there's some fucking person out there doing that shit.
Yeah,
and there's people that are buying it too that are like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Loving it. Yeah, it's really interesting though.
You want to dip your toe, I think, in the retro color water, but I don't think you want to jump in.
Retrofuturism, dude. Yeah, I like it.
Because otherwise it's like, oh, is this the 80s? Or is this, a joke about the 80s in the year 2021?
It's just too ironic. You're getting that moment where it's like, oh, this is for irony's sake, but then you go past it and you're just doing it, and you're like, but what are you doing?
Our culture's done that a lot, a whole bunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we, I think irony has become like our form of humor in a lot of ways.
Right.
The ironic humor, permeated the 90s and the early 2000s, right? You'd say. So, definitely in our culture.
It totally changes the curve for everything. Wonder how ironic everyone's going to be coming back after this. How jaded. What kind of jokes, how open everyone's going to be. You think everyone's going to be open, sharing their lives, spilling their guts?
Literal. Everyone's going to be really literal. I think because they're going to forget. Everyone's going to forget how to joke and take things. Everyone's going to be really sensitive. You know, there's people that have just been with them and their spouse, and it's like when you come into the world with everybody else, how do you, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. My fiance and my 4 kids, that's it. So it's like, how am I going to react to another person my age? And like, you want to watch Toy Story? No, they don't. That's all I know how to talk about now. It's going to be
Toy Story 2? Toy Story 3?
I mean that ironically.
Try something.
Right? But no, then I really want to watch Toy Story, like.
Well, that's the Stockholm syndrome, the Toy Story Pixar-based Stockholm syndrome you get as a father. I'm assuming.
I could write the best thesis paper on Toy Story. All 4 movies, I have a cohesive, universal thread. You know,
We're flirting with Disney Plus at this point.
no, fuck it.
We're,
No,
we're
sorry.
flirting with it.
Honestly, though, I've been watching my son's favorite movie is Toy Story, and that's all he ever
I
wants
love
to
that,
watch.
man. I love that movie.
He just wants to
Yeah.
watch it again and again, and thank God.
Which
it's
one?
that-
The first one?
There's 4, so we could
Right.
thank God we could cycle through all 4, because if you like the same movie, then you have to watch that same movie again and again and again.
Yeah.
So at least I can go 1 and then 3 and then 4 and then back to 2 and then 3 again and then.
If you want,
4.
I'll convert a copy of Toy Story on a VHS for you.
Oh, thank
and
God.
maybe we can invert the colors, and it'll just seem like a different movie to him.
He's
We'll,
gonna be like, "Whoa, this is so much better." I'm like, "That's
we'll
right."
pitch the voices up and down.
He will ironically like it more. Yeah, though, it's just that's what he's into, so that's just what we've been doing, and it keeps him happy, and he can watch it numerous times and not be bored. And
I had walking pneumonia when I was in 6th grade, and I had to stay home from school for 2 weeks. Was the most I ever had to stay at home, and that's a Herculean amount of time when you're that old. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 10 years now. But I got the Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2 DVD set when it first came out, right in 6th grade when I got sick,
Oh, yeah.
and that got me through my isolation. Toy Story got me through when I was 11 years old, whatever.
look at that, still doing. Now 2 more movies to that collection, and it's still doing it.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
Seriously.
Mm.
That's beautiful.
Toy Story-
That's why we're making media here, folks. We're trying to get you through this life. I mean, this is
Take 1 hour of your day and just let you chill out a little bit.
yeah, I mean, come on.
95 though that movie was made, Toy Story.
Right.
Isn't that crazy to
Shocking
think about?
amount of time ago, right?
Whoa, 95? That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because it makes me feel old as shit, but it really was.
Yeah.
And how good, and it still holds up, and it's all animated, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I was 6 years old when I first saw it, which, I mean, perfect demographic, right?
Nailed it.
How old would you want to be to see Toy Story the first time?
Yeah, about that age. Yeah, about that age. Because everything's, it's just so magical, and you're like, toys talk, and they have personalities, and, when I
Yeah.
leave the room, and then it allows you to, love your toys more, right?
Yeah.
There's a very marketing, commercial aspect to all these things, which is pretty insidious, but
Yeah.
it's very materialistic, right? All of my toys have personalities, and they all love me, and I need to make sure I love all of these toys. And
Did you have any of the Toy Story toys when you were younger?
Yeah, I
Which
did.
ones?
I definitely think I had a Woody. See, the thing was, I had 2 younger brothers that were younger than me, so they had Buzz Lightyears. I remember they had Buzz Lightyears and some Woodies, and my son now, he's got a million toys,
Yeah.
because now there is a Toy Story toy line, right? There's so many of the toys.
There was then, too, because
Yeah.
I had a few. I had the Brontosaurus.
Rex.
Rex. Excuse me.
Rex.
The T-Rex.
I'll just name them all.
What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm like, that's...
Ironic. Well, no, I shouldn't say ironic. But funny enough, in the movies there is a Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And they got
Mr.
rid of
and
Potato Head.
Mrs., and now it's just Potato Head. It used to
Jerry
be
Stiller?
Mr. Jerry Stiller.
Is it Jerry Stiller's voice?
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles?
Don
Oh,
Rickles.
shit. Okay.
But so wait. Jerry Stiller's wife in Seinfeld.
I got to do one more Toy Story fuck up to the characters.
Yeah, right. No, Jerry Stiller's wife in Seinfeld. George Costanza's
That's what's confusing me.
mother.
Yes.
Is Mrs. Potato Head.
That's what's confusing me. Right. That's what it is.
There you go. Yeah, but Don Rickles is Mr. Potato Head, and he's in the 4th one. But he died 2 or 3 years before. But they had snippets of his voice, so they added a couple of lines in the 4th one.
They Tupac'd him like that?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
But he's just mostly in the background. He just kind of hangs out. He says 2 lines.
I don't know how I feel about all that. I was listening to or watching a new episode of The Simpsons, but the listening part's important. And some of the voices have really changed. It's the same people, but Marge has definitely got a different rasp, a different
Aged,
timbre. They have. I think it's kind of beautiful. I like it. But
Their voices have aged, but the characters have not,
right.
which is interesting.
Would you rather that they use CGI to make it perfect forever, or to let the characters age and then eventually they'll stop?
Are you talking Simpsons?
How about for The Simpsons? Let's say you can have
Simpsons
the
is too-
current different timbre of voices, or they could have used computers these years to build and then maybe
No.
change. They can currently record them and maybe just dissect the current recording and fix it so it sounds more old.
No, I want them aged, man.
Okay.
I want them. That's part of as an actor, right? As an actor,
agree.
as a voice thing, the timbre of their voice is important.
I agree.
There's going to be Well, what was it? They were talking oh God, now I'm gonna mess this up, so I don't want to say it. But it was somebody's like James Dean or something. It was like a virtual portrayal of James Dean, and they were like making like the virtual holographic version of him. So like a director had to direct him, but it was like you're not directing. You're just making a computer do a thing. So it's like, at what point is there you just take actors out of the equation, and then directors will just CGI exactly what they want the performance in. You're taking,
They should get it like I've been playing a lot of guitar lately, so excuse the example, but you know how like players will have like a pedal board, like stomp boxes where you could like play something? They should have that for like emotions for like the digital actor. Like as opposed to distortion pedal, you hit like the anger pedal.
Sad.
Surprise.
But you can get the different tones out of the digital actor that way. Like
You have to couple them at the same time, so it's like a confused.
fuck yeah, exactly.
You got to get the right emotion.
That would be like volume in like I don't know, just kind of like just vocal distortion. Like if
Emotional
it starts
volume.
to break up, like how did you fucking do this? Like I can.
Well, the levels of anger, how hard you're putting it down, light anger, and then you're jamming on it, and you're just furious.
Right.
That'd be really interesting. Yeah, I'm sure though that's what you get. Well, that's computers, right? Computer animation. You have to like the animators are animating a lot of the performance, right?
Yeah.
I watched Spies in Disguise with my son, and the main character, this big spy, he's Will Smith, and you could just tell that they watched Will Smith's face and they just animated whatever he was doing because it looked so much like him, and just the sound and personality. He's a guy where like you get Will Smith, you want Will Smith, so you want his performance, you want what he's giving you. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say I would even argue there's a subtle brainwashing occurring because we grew up for 20 years watching Will Smith in movies. Now, just take the facial expressions that we've been tuned to for Will Smith and put them on like different characters or like there's going to be like a Will Smith algorithm for animation, right? To be able to get his sort of like expression that we're naturally in love with because of our childhoods or something, right?
Absolutely. Well, it'll just get better at doing that, right? I mean, go back to Toy Story 4. The algorithm making that movie is...
I didn't see the fourth one.
Okay. I don't want
You could talk about it. I for some reason I missed it. I didn't catch it. It came out like a year before the pandemic, right?
Yeah. I think 2018. It came out in 2018. Okay. We remember because we saw that was I think Harry's first movie. Maybe we went to go see Toy Story 4 in theaters with him.
Right.
Because that was big thing. But the movie itself is like an algorithm for people in our age because it's not just about toys and like a fun Toy Story. It's about like moving on and growth and loss and friendships and like all these deep-seated emotional concepts that like as an adult you're watching and you're like, whoa. And as a kid, you're just like, cool, they're at a carnival. They're like doing this crazy stuff, No,
but it stays with you if they kind of keep evolving with you.
Yeah, and just that the idea that they know analytically what heartstrings to pull and when as they're creating these things, like whether it be like a Will Smith performance and knowing what the Will Smith is the genie, right? They specifically wanted somebody with their own personality, their own vibe that they're bringing to this role, right? Like at what stage were they going to be able to like really like zero in on that?
On the pulling of the heartstrings, let's dive into this with a direct example. Let's say me and you developed a TV show.
Sure.
Where it's like the create your own ending type book back in the day. But you could basically tailor the show to 4 different personality temperaments. Maybe just for based on the example earlier, let's say aggression.
Sure.
Is joke aggression is the metric that we would use. But basically we just set this up so there's a bunch of moments within the show where a joke is chosen based on what person is viewing the material. So like the person who can't handle any like rough jokes, any like dirty jokes, just gets a clean joke in that one joke slot that we write into the script. And maybe there's like 10 opportunities for these joke slots. And you could be watching like a totally different show that has like a rated G storyline, but they could have some fucking like rated R jokes in there. You know what I mean?
Just real horrible shit, right? And you just press a button and it gives you the one you want, right?
You could put like a television show on family mode. You could go from like adult mode like back to family mode. That's like maybe just 2 versions, right?
Yeah, that's really
But would
good.
you watch shit like that? Do you feel like there's anything there?
It would be really interesting.
Or would you want to make something like that? Is that like enticing to you to want to...
Choose your own adventure? Yeah.
Right.
But see, I feel like with that, it would be hard because you're so many masters, right? There's so many different like doing that, right? Okay, so say you got like the good guy lane, the middle guy lane, the super dirty joke guy lane, and the aggro lane. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like tailoring different parts to that as like a creative and making a story and making it cohesive for each. You know what I mean? That would be challenging. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why it would have to have all 10 jokes, or in this example, would have to be throwaway.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
They couldn't be advancing the plot.
Just again, 10 jokes though. 10 good jokes that you're really happy with. That, you know, or I shouldn't say 10, however many for the storyline. So say if you have 5 storylines, you might have to come up with like 50 jokes for each storyline, you know, like I'm not that fucking funny, you know what I mean? We need like a team. You need like a team to assemble something like that.
I'm going to do this, just super lazy at first. You know, watch like DVDs, they have deleted scenes.
Yes, of course.
And like, it'll just be like one last joke at the end of the scene that they like cut off the end. So everything still happened that needed to happen. But as opposed to getting like 4 jokes out of the scene about what just happened, you get 6 jokes. It's just going to be based off of that concept. Just
the end of Clue. The end of Clue, there was like 5 different endings of Clue. And depending on which movie theater you went to, it would give you a different ending, right?
This is now becoming more familiar.
Yes.
I wonder every year we do this podcast, it's going to be like, we were talking about this last year at this exact time, weren't we?
Oh my God.
We played Clue
funny?
At Easter, now the day after Easter, whatever. We're
going back and just seeing the repetitious patterns that our brains get in. No, I don't know if I brought the show up, but now that I think about it, it's a show called Just Roll With It, and it's on the Disney Channel.
Don't know.
And it's shot in front of a live studio audience. And in the middle, the cast knows the script and everything. But all of a sudden, in the middle of it, there'll be like an air horn that goes off. And then the audience chooses the next thing that happens in the story, right? And usually it's something like somebody does something messy or something really silly, or all these different like crazy, like a goat comes in or something just ridiculous. So the audience chooses, and then the actors don't know what's going to happen. So then they show up, and then they have to act out what's happening, and then the story continues, and then it's all super goofy. But it's very choose your own adventure. And,
I like it.
My kids love it. You know, it's like because then it's interesting too, because it'll stop the show, and then you see all the actors kind of become their regular people, and then they go backstage, and then you see all the producers getting the stuff together. So it's really interesting that like it's very aware that it's a show, but it's like, okay, guys, let's do something goofy, and then they just have to roll with it, right? Like you just keep it going.
Yeah.
But it is very entertaining because you're always like, what are they gonna do next? You know?
Well, there's something about natural reactions out of actors. That's I do love improv.
Yeah.
Same with musicians, like when you're doing improvised solos. There's a type of energy there,
Get in the groove.
that just gets a little contrived anytime you play anything twice.
Yeah. Do you think? But then again, okay, so getting in the groove 4 different ways in one piece of thing, you know, that's a tall order.
It's gonna be tough.
You know, getting one solid thing, or story, or like developed thing.
No, actually, you're right. I shouldn't make this seem too easy, because if we can ever get some money from like a studio to make this happen, I should make it seem like it would
Looking
be
at you,
extremely...
A24.
A24 would be extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Cut gems.
Yeah.
Well cut gems. Actually, the Simpsons episode I watched was Uncut Femmes. It was an Uncut Gems like
Uncut Femmes.
Title. It was like Chief Wiggum's wife was secretly like a robber, you know, some sort of like
that's where we got with
sophisticated-
Simpsons plot lines. We're talking about Chief Wiggum, an
His
already
wife.
secondary character.
His wife.
His wife's story. Like the minute you said it was Chief Wiggum, his wife, and then how did Ralph take all of this?
They kept him in the dark, you know. Of course.
He eats paste.
But it was funny at the beginning. They just like had her not talk, because they basically not had her talk the whole time. Like and then just they had her take actually one drink of like a bottle she snuck onto a field trip or something, and then like her personality opened up or whatever. But they were kind of almost alluding to the fact that like, we know we've kept this person silent for 30 years, and it's really convenient to have to give them a personality at this point.
Right.
They're just like
at least they were tongue in cheek and acknowledging that fact.
Exactly.
Right? Like
it felt that way a little bit. But I was surprised the Uncut Femmes.
Uncut Femmes,
they
that's
were
really good.
But why not use something fun, topical like that?
Exactly. When you have a million, episodes, you're gonna have to stay current because you can't go in the past.
There's a podcast episode in the last season I saw too.
Of course there is.
So
wait till you get the Simpsons NFTs, and then you're really gonna break all those episodes in NFTs. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting making a Simpsons algorithm. taking all the data of all the old Simpsons episodes, and it would just, you feed it all in there, and then it just creates episodes for you, and it has everything already together. It's just boom, make an episode. Boom, make an episode.
It'd be like the Bible. It'd be too contradictory. Like if they tried to use the Bible to give like a robot morality,
Oh my God. Homer, the levels of stupidity of Homer, because like he wasn't always like completely dumb.
Right.
He had levels where he got dumber and dumber and dumber. I mean, he was a nuclear safety engineer. So in the earlier episodes, he was dumb. He did stupid things, but he wasn't just a complete like numbskull.
Nuclear safety inspector.
Inspector, I'm sorry.
I don't know if he went to engineering school for that or not. I had to say it. If people were at home, I'm sure we're freaking out.
Well, I corrected you for all the fucking Toy Story shit, so it's only fair you get me back.
This one's gonna be correcting cartoons. We're just correcting cartoons back and forth.
Our childhoods, how dare you?
Trying to remember what the cartoons were like.
Because I remember there's the episode where he gets his job and he just kind of walks in. He doesn't have a college degree. It's like, the nuclear plant opens up in Springfield, so he just goes to career fair or something and he gets the job.
Is that when he was working at Barney's Bowl-O-Rama?
Look at you.
Possibly, perhaps.
Yep. Before Barney's descent into alcoholism and horribleness, right?
They also do a lot of convenient jokes with Barney. They
Yeah.
just turn that on and off. They'll make him like the smoothest dude.
Yeah.
Like in one of the later episodes, he's like a helicopter captain that's like saving people's lives,
Of course, right. The depth of those characters, though,
Gotta love The Simpsons, though. You can tell what I've been doing during
Simpsons, it's
quarantine.
Good. That's good. Also on Disney Plus. Just had to throw that
I'm
out.
watching the DVDs, by the way.
Good.
And
Good for
some
you.
Hulu. So I've seen only the very new and the very old,
Are they going to do a second movie? I heard they were going to do a second movie.
I really wish they would.
Yeah.
It maybe in some sort of increment. The last one was like maybe 2007,
Yeah.
right? It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So they got 13 years.
I remember seeing that shit in theaters. That was wild.
And they did great.
It was a great movie.
They did so good.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay, Simpsons doesn't need us kissing their ass anymore.
Oh,
What else is going on
Hey,
here?
I love. Okay, Bob's Burgers is coming off the movie. No, I'm just kidding. They are, but I'm.
Are they?
Yeah, they really
Oh,
are. Yeah.
nice.
Pandemic delayed it, so
Took
it
a
was
long
supposed to come out
time.
last year or something, and I think the pandemic delayed it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a franchise. I checked that out.
Oh my
for
God,
sure.
I can't believe there are.
H. John Benjamin anything,
Hell yeah. I'm always though surprised at the longevity. Just like It's Always Sunny, some of these shows that have just lasted eternities, and it's just I take them for granted. It's Always Sunny. I just cracked that on, and I was laughing my ass off at it still. And it's
Yep.
like season 15,
Yep.
and I just thought, wow, like I took it for granted, like it's always going to be there.
In the last podcast episode, I was talking about Steely Dan, and
Yes.
it was a very similar thing. I took it for granted for many years.
I was gonna bring up Steely Dan because I listened to that, and I was like, James never listened to Steely. Like, wow, holy
How
shit.
did I miss it? Right?
Funny story. My mom, when I used to be in like kindergarten, we'd have a really long drive. We lived in like really far to my kindergarten, so we'd wake up at like the ass crack of dawn to drive there, and she'd always play Steely Dan, and I
Really?
fucking hated it. I was like, this is like, what is this? Blah blah blah. I didn't like it.
Do you remember which Steely Dan, which album?
It was like Time Out of Mind was on there.
Yeah, okay.
It had to be like late 80s, late 80s. But like I was in kindergarten, so it wasn't like it was like late 80s was only like 5 or 6
She was
years ago.
playing
at that point.
Gaucho, I think.
I bet.
The
yeah.
album Gaucho.
I bet. Or she had like a
1980. It came out in 80.
Tonight when I chase the dragon. That's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite songs, right? I love that
That's-
song.
that's a great
Now I
song.
love that fucking song. But then I just couldn't stand Steely Dan.
That's so funny.
And then it was like something in high school.
Did
I
that
cracked
sorry,
open.
one second. Did
Yeah,
that
go.
album start with Babylon Sisters?
Babylon Sisters.
Yeah, great.
Shake
It's
it. That's
definitely
the
Gaucho.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. You know what's funny? I didn't even think about what album it was, but you that's the album it was.
I've been very album based in how I've been listening, and I'll basically just start at the beginning and listen to every single album.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll stop at Gaucho and go back and not actually, because they actually went from 1980 Gaucho. They released an album 20 years later.
Yeah.
In 2000, that was also amazing.
Yeah.
And they won Grammys for or whatever.
I mean, they're Walter
takes-
Becker and Donald Fagen.
Who
they're
takes
great.
20 years off and is still good in a band? That's
But see,
crazy.
You listen to Donald Fagen, Walter Becker. I mean, he sounded the same when he did his solo stuff. I mean, it was
It did sound
still
similar.
It was. I mean, it was missing something for me. I still really like it. There's a lot of cool. I think he's more lyrical and he's more talky in his stuff. And
It's Fagen's voice. Fagen's did most of the singing on the
yeah,
Steely Dan.
yeah, that's right.
Walter
yeah.
sounds pretty different.
Yeah.
But his,
I'm sorry. His
guitar
Fagen.
arrangements.
That's what I'm talking about. Fagen's
okay.
side project. Yeah, because I like all of his stuff, his vocal stuff. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, what the fuck was I trying to say?
You had this association that was bad for a while.
Yes,
with
and then in
Steely
high
Dan.
school-
you had a similar thing where you fucking didn't like Steely Dan. Well, the thing is, anytime it's older person's music, right? It's just like not naturally easy.
When you don't get to choose it and somebody's forcing you to listen to it, of course they hate it. So then high school came around, and I was a big Steely Dan fan by then, and I really enjoyed them. And then everyone in high school was like, "What are you listening to? Steely Dan sucks." Then it was like 4 or 5 years later when we were in college, and everyone was like, "Man, Steely Dan's really good." And I was like, "Yeah, welcome to the party, assholes. You know, welcome, enjoy the ride." Like,
I know people feel that way like about me saying it. In
Yeah.
a way, right?
Oh,
It's
no,
like, it's got to be annoying.
I'm
Like,
glad you're here. I'm a little older now, so I'm glad people are there. But when people would be like, "What the hell are you listening to? Why don't you listen to System of a Down, bro? Why don't you listen to Blink-182?" And I'm like, I'd rather listen to Babylon Sisters. I want to hear Peg again.
Yeah.
FM. Give me those jams. You know,
Right.
get out of here. You know,
FM is actually the #1 single that's not on one of those albums I mentioned that you should listen to. That's one of the only like side songs they released.
I love it so good.
Yeah.
It's a really, and it's a blast too. I love their lyrics, man, because that's all about AM and FM radio and them being young and listening to the new FM stations and stuff. It's good. I like it.
I'm bad with lyrics. I'm still figuring out some of the lyrical content.
Me
but
too.
Very jokey and smart. And lots of things to hook on to.
Their name is Steely Dan. It's based off a giant dildo. Like that's in the name.
It's
you
a
know what I'm
sex
saying?
toy, right?
Yeah,
I didn't know that either until I went on Wikipedia. With
it is in Naked Lunch, I believe. I think it's
You're
Naked
exactly
Lunch.
right. No, I
And-
read that online. Yeah,
and
you're
it's-
exactly right.
That's where they got the name from. And it's like yeah.
Damn,
So,
you're a Dan fan.
Dan fan.
You're a Dan fan.
I am for years. Like I said, since high school, early high school, I was rocking. I was rocking them. I got their greatest hits album though. I would do that in high school. I'd get, if I liked an artist, especially an older artist, I just get their greatest hits and like rock through it.
Well, who's got time? I mean, when you're growing up, it's about to be the year 2000. It's like, I'm 12 years old. Just give me the greatest hits album, okay?
Yeah.
This music came out 35 years ago. I can't be.
Right, and because I want what's good. You know, I want what the better ones. I did that with a couple, like Genesis. You ever listen to Genesis?
No.
So good.
No,
Yeah, so
I think
good.
I may need to.
You do. Yeah. I would
Two
say so.
drummers, right? Ridiculous. I haven't listened to them.
Yeah.
Good.
Their first stuff, they had like Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel was their big guy.
Yeah.
And then Phil Collins came in, and then it completely changed like the sound. And both are good, but I'm a Phil Collins guy. Yeah,
Okay.
For sure.
Haven't listened to Phil Collins either.
Big drummer. You'd really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
really like him.
I should get on there.
And he's
Genesis or Phil Collins? Who's first?
You could do Phil Collins and then Genesis. I think Genesis first, and then he became Phil Collins. Honestly.
Chronologically.
Yeah, I think that's how it went.
But you're advising I ignore that.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know, man. There's Phil Collins' album, No Jacket. I think it's No Jacket Required. That's such a good fucking album, dude. It's
I got
so
some gaps,
good.
man. I got some going back to
Oh,
do.
me too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I have so many musical gaps. Actually, most of my musical gaps are from like 2007 on. You know, like that's it. I just stopped caring about what people listen to on the radio.
Well, I don't think they've released any good music since then, so I wouldn't worry about that. I'm just kidding. There's been a few.
Justin
There's been-
Bieber would have some words with you.
There's been like 14 good albums. Since
Bruno
then.
Mars, dude. I like Bruno Mars.
I do too. Yeah.
You know, he's got
Anderson
some hits.
.Paak.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great song.
Silk Sonic. Did you see they like have a project together?
Yes.
Or like, yeah.
I was talking about that song that they have, "Open the Door, Leave the Door Open."
Yeah.
And I was saying how I love that style of music. Like I listened to a lot of that style back in like the 70s and the early 80s stuff. The OJs, the Spinners, all that crap. But you know, I like this song. I don't love it because I like a lot of that stuff better. But when you listen to the radio and you hear that, it feels so much better. It's like, oh, this is a jam, and it's playing on like B96 and all these other like popular music stations.
I could dig that trend.
It feels good.
If
right?
we're doing more smooth 70s stuff, I could really dig
absolutely.
that. That's speaking of Steely Dan. We're talking about Steely Dan, right? And there's like a lot of natural connections to the 60s, 70s counterculture elements to modern day society too.
Yeah.
So I think that's naturally going to happen to some level.
Absolutely.
How much it stays that way sonically, I'm not 100% sure. But I think people want to get together and jam together and play real instruments together. It's like a social element that the headphones and a laptop you don't really get with, you know?
I didn't even think about that. How much of that's going to go on is all these guys that have been cooped up for years making music by themselves are going to want to get out and jam and let's groove together. I actually just became friends with this musician, and he was talking about how he did a live gig recently. And he was like, we did it, and I did it, and they recorded him, but he's like, I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling the groove, and like everyone was telling me good job and great stuff, but like I didn't feel it, you know. And it's a lot of it was getting the rust out and all this stuff, and you know,
It's something you have to habituate into. I've been playing a lot more guitar than drums. And if I was like on a stage, so to speak, or playing in front of other people, no hesitation with drums at this point.
Yeah.
But switching instruments, like major anxiety attack compared to holding the sticks. You know?
Right. Oh yeah, totally.
This is why I need those pedals on the ground for like emotion, like anger, happiness. And I can also have jokes in those pedals. Maybe I can hit one if I start to get too nervous on stage.
Since Daft Punk is no longer out there, you can just get one of those helmets, and then you can just press it, and it'll do it for you. So you don't have to emote while you're playing the drums, and you can just play the drums, and you're focused, and the eyebrows will go down focused. You know, it'd be great.
If I should set up a band like that, maybe just do like robots, like the Chuck E. Cheese band, the animatronic type. Be halfway there.
That'd be great. I think you could do really, really rock some socks with that.
I think people do want to get together and play music, though. Another good buddy, Arpit, has been playing keyboard. Started taking keyboard lessons, yeah. And I've heard just from other people too. Micah is this other guy I know, my buddy. He was he got his like Stratocaster back from home. He's like, why don't I bring this to my apartment, or
because I'm not doing anything but
bring
hang
this
out.
to my quarantine life. Yeah,
that's so smart. I almost got into keyboards last year, and I got one. I got my old one, and I set it up, and then I was just like, I just didn't follow through with it.
Last year for Corona?
Yeah, that was what it was. Yeah, I got it back from my brother's. Had my super old one that my sister had from like the mid '90s.
Nice.
And it's like a real classic Casio one, like a big one, and it's got all the whatever. But anyways, I couldn't do it. I really wanted to. I was during my Elton John phase, and I really wanted to learn the keyboards, and I just never did it.
It's never too late for that.
It's not right.
Never
That's
too late.
I say that, and people are like, why don't you just start now?
I have a keyboard from '95, a Yamaha that I need to tickle a little bit more in there, no doubt.
It's just fun though, because it's just you play, and I don't know, it's fun.
It is.
It's fun, especially when you're good at it. Unlike this asshole, me, this asshole.
I mean, at this point, I play a couple instruments I'm not good at yet. I'm like, I'm good at drums, but I'm not good at some of these other ones. It's like.
You'd be that guy with the cymbals on his feet and the big drum on the back.
Simpsons did it. Anyway,
what is it? Dick Van Dyke did it. Mary Poppins, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mary Poppins.
Everything good you've ever liked has been stolen from something else. Just remember that.
Yeah, it has.
I mean,
even my favorite recut trailer is Scary Mary, the Mary Poppins scary version online. They've even stolen the sanctity of Mary Poppins.
Yeah, that's such a good...
to terrify and make college students laugh.
There was a good one I saw of the opposite for The Shining, where it was like a coming-of-age tale, and it was like The Shining, and it's got Salisbury Hill as the background. Dun, 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 and it just looks so hopeful, and it's Jack Nicholson smiling like a maniac,
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see like celebrities like Jack Nicholson emerge post-pandemic.
He's retired. You'll never see that guy again. Real talk.
Well, no, but there's guys like him that you still would see at a Lakers game maybe sometimes, whatever, though, right? I'm not saying he'll be in movies, whatever.
Yeah,
but even to see in public for like public outings, because it's been some time, man.
Yeah.
Like
going back to a basketball game, going to a football game, like not just celebrities but people,
Do you have like a number one thing you want to do, like once, like with the world's back, like?
Honestly, I'm not
not
blowing smoke. It was this. This is the thing I wanted to do. Not even blowing smoke. So I'm doing it. I'm appeased now. I don't really need anything else.
This is big, man. This is great.
I would like to go to a basketball game again, but it's not like I don't know. There's nothing in my life that I felt really was like robbed from me, that I was like, oh, I gotta do this and I'll never be able to do it. Hugging my grandma, that's a real one for me. I couldn't hug my grandma for a freaking year.
It's huge, man.
And it's just, and her being in a prison of her of
nursing home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like senior living environment.
Yeah. And it's to keep
because that was actually like locked down on a level that even the most careful Democrat probably didn't experience the last year of Corona.
1,000%.
Like testing to come in and this and that.
And just being like solitary, like, when you live alone in your home and you're, in your later years, and it's like, what are you living for but your family? And you're not seeing your family, and they're kind of seeing each other sometimes, and their bubbles can kind of combine in their bubble math and all that. But like, she's still by herself, and it's been a year. It's just really hard. And then, she's talking about how many people that she's lost in there, and like they're not filling it up because you can't, it's just shit like that, So I'm pretty lucky, I had my family. There's nothing that I'm like, oh God, I can't wait to go do that. I feel pretty blessed.
Podcast. You gave me an answer.
Yeah, podcast, dude.
I'll take that answer.
Honestly, it was this. It was doing this, and I'm doing it. So fuck you, Corona.
How dare you try to stop this?
You can't. You can try, but it's not. You're not gonna succeed.
You can force us outside and give us 5-month delays between episodes, but
we are coming back. Yeah.
I'm excited to go back indoors. I will miss the outdoors a little, though, once we actually leave the outdoor-only type hangout environment.
It's going to be weird. It's one of those things. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Looking back, imagine 2 years, that's what's going to be the funniest shit. Is in like 2 or 3 years from now, people can be like, I miss all that Corona isolation. Man, if I could just go back and just get a couple months of isolation, things I could accomplish.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I wonder. I hope,
because there's always that backlash. Even now with our big
Sure.
with our new situation in government, there's people that were like, I kind of just missed that other guy, and you're like, it hasn't even been that long, it hasn't even been that long.
It is fitting we started the podcast talking about like Biden's children, Joe Biden. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because we had Trump as president for the last group podcast. So
I know.
now
And
got
we were
Joe Biden.
nervous. I remember an election night, we were nervous that it was gonna, because nothing was out yet, and it was all like, what's going on,
We were getting some 2012 deja vu going
And then
on, or 2016,
thankfully, election fraud happened, and all of the
Come on, man, don't tag us. Don't.
Thankfully, no, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just
You
kidding.
get sued by Dominion here.
Yeah,
Don't need that
jeez.
shit.
Good for them. Good for fucking them, dude. You can't. Whatever. It's a whole other.
Yeah, it's all right. We can skip on that.
Public companies are public companies unless they don't do what you want. And then how dare they? How dare they? They need to get out, moving the All-Star game. How dare they? Well, I mean, that's their right. I don't know. I just love it. I love it. I love blatant hypocrisy and it coming back around,
Yeah.
I try to stay neutral. I try to, not really neutral, but, I try not to talk too much shit because it comes back on you. And that's all.
It does. It does. And especially a year when you're only seeing like 2 or 3 people. You know what I mean? If you got like a poor ass attitude.
Don't talk too much shit about those 3 people you see all day.
I could come back to you. You know what I mean? If you just got 3, 4 people in the bubble, it's like, did you hear about this one person in the bubble? It's like, bro, of course I did. There's only 3 of us here.
He's in the living room and we're in the kitchen. No, but real quick, how do you enjoy how quiet it's been now and like the news cycle and how it's like
yes,
it's just a bit more toned down,
Yeah, because it was way too much energy and action for one person's storyline. This world is huge and this life is long. So for us to constantly be talking about Trump in very polarized ways is just exhausting to me.
Right.
Absolutely. And intellectually infinitesimal, really, in a way, because you either have the super polarized opinion here or there. Everything's so set in stone.
Dude,
after a few years of that, it's like,
there's
good
no
Lord.
nuance. You don't get any nuance with that. You're either at A or B. There's no middle ground, and
Yeah.
it gets old.
Yeah.
It just gets old.
I find it fascinating now with the news cycle and obviously how Biden's being treated, whether or not he is getting the same attention or info. He kind of took a while for his first press conference, right? He just had it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Was his first conference.
And they didn't mention Corona once in the press
didn't mention
conference.
Corona once, which is like, huh?
They were really focused on drumming up border drama, it seemed like, and...
Well, they've kind of been easy on him and like positive toward him because the country does need to heal, and there are people who are just taking this intellectual diversity thing way too seriously, or like political diversity thing way too seriously in terms of the polarization.
Yeah.
But not intellectual diversity. But I don't know, man. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we're able to now discuss it, because there's a while, and specifically even the last podcast, I feel like we couldn't even make jokes about like Joe Biden and leading up to that election night, especially. I want. Specifically trying to watch what I said, trying to be very positive about him because, like, I clearly didn't want Trump going back in.
Right.
And even though it's easy to talk shit about someone or, make jokes about their son smoking Parmesan cheese like crack.
Yeah, right.
Fine.
Like,
it's not.
Fine. That's fine.
That's
not
not the time
guy.
for that.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how it develops because now everyone's getting kind of comfortable, right? I mean, people kind of stop subscribing to CNN and,
the ratings, that's what I was going to get into. When it's not as sexy anymore and you don't have the crazy crazy like news stories every day, how much do do media companies want to drum shit up?
I think I saw that Fox News was finally fucking beaten the ratings.
MSNBC beat Fox in the ratings.
It finally got beat, partially because Trump led to a sort of division within the right-wing media networks, right?
ONA, Newsmax, Fox News wasn't right enough, so a lot of these media companies are even more conservative than Fox, and so they're
niching out. It's like having another presidential candidate that like distracts everyone from the one you're trying to get to win. Like the Ross Perot.
And I know that Fox News, I'm sure, is pretty pissed, right? Pissed because they had this whole market share, and now that they have to diversify it, I mean, they're going to be in some, I don't want to say they're in trouble because it's obviously not, but.
No, Trump was a media president. He was a reality TV media-inducing president. He got tons of free media. It makes sense that one of the main ripple effects that come from his presidency is some sort of media-based legacy. Maybe the media kingpin that was Fox News now is going to limp away because the strength is flowed into Parler and all these other insane...
Yeah, but again...
Not insane. I mean, I'm just, it's fringe.
Insane.
Elements.
You have
asshole elements.
It's like when there's like the gang turf war and you have the kingpin and you knock out the kingpin and then there's all those other little guys that are going to go off and do their own destructive things. Yeah. And at some point you're like, oh man, I kind of miss that kingpin because then we can kind of control everything. The same thing happened.
Crime is about that. Power vacuums, it seems like.
Yes, exactly.
Even world politics, it's kind of like that.
Power vacuum,
I mean,
right.
It is like that.
USA diminishing, China fills that vacuum, right? That's just what happens. If there's a space, somebody's going to fill that space, and I think that it's not necessarily maybe not a bad thing, but you see that sometimes when all of the people are congregating, the flies are around the light, so to speak, and the light goes out and the flies all fly other places.
Yeah.
You don't know where they all go then at that point, and it's not as easy to like kind of keep them corralled, I guess. No,
it's not.
So now that you're gonna have Newsmax and the One American News Network and all these other like hyper partisan conservative, opinion journalism, it's like at least Fox, they had their opinion correspondents, but you did have like real news people like Shep Smith, and there's a list of the guys that were actually like news people. But now with these O&A networks, it's just straight propaganda. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna see how that's gonna radicalize even more people when they go that way. So there's pros and cons, I think, of it.
It is, yeah. There's going to be like an extreme version of all these different news shows now, right? I mean, it just hits harder.
Yeah.
It's like it's turning up the dial on any one thing. Trying as hard as I can not to use the guitar stomp box analogy again for the Fox News host. No, but
that's our new $1 million idea: emotional stomp box, emotional pedal boards,
emotional stomp box.
TM.
We're gonna work on that one.
TM.
But no, but I mean, you can argue this is a fucking news show. That we're media figures, that we are the next Shepard Smith is what I'm trying. Shepard Smith. We need better news names though, because
like what? Tucker Carlson, Shep Smith. Oh, we need better news names.
Shepard Smith has got the alliteration. Yeah,
Wolf Flitzer.
Fuck.
Anderson Cooper.
Yeah. AC is a good shortening for the name.
Yeah. AC 360.
Have James Smith Grattan. JSG.
Yeah.
That works. That's something.
I like JSG.
That's kind of like an AC thing, right?
Yeah.
AC and JSG bringing you New Year's Eve from Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve, brought to you by JSG
I
and
would
AC.
love it if we could like cut to that in 10 years. It's just you and like Anderson Cooper and aged Anderson Cooper.
It's me, you, Andy Cohen, and Anderson Cooper in Times Square.
Watch what happens.
God, I hope so.
Live. Could you imagine?
Dear Lord, I hope so.
Yeah. We just hit it. We just crush it big. Disney executives finally watch this podcast. They're like, we gotta fucking get these guys a show.
Too much, man. Too much.
I mean, Netflix giving everybody out money. Let's get a show, dude. Let's get a show.
Yeah, we got. I for the algorithms, I try to ask every third episode. I try to directly ask for money and any profits if at all possible.
Well, guys, we're gonna set up a Patreon, and no,
the Patreon's gonna be there.
Patreon,
it's just gonna be VHS Patreon.
I bet you get some people. We'll get some hits on that shit.
It's got to be people that do that though. Just take like Toy Story and like swap out some of the colors, change some of the dialogue, recut it a little bit.
Sure.
And like,
but like as
this is my original.
But like if you were like a pretty successful artist and you did that, like a Banksy decided to do that and like did it really,
KAWS. Do you know that artist KAWS, where it's like all the cartoons with the X's on the eyes? Yeah, very similar. No, just like copy paste, cut out the eye.
Just put big balls with X's on it, and it's Elmo with X's on his eyes. And
I need someone to understand that artist to me specifically, because all the coolest like hip hop artists and other artists in the world seem to be involved with that person or that artist, and I don't understand what is going on. Why everyone shows this person.
No, sorry, I'm thinking.
So
sorry,
much
I know I'm looking that way. I'm
Matt's
totally
car
thinking.
Is being told as
I was literally spacing because I was trying to think about that, because it's like it's totally to me seems like one perfectly good influencer thought it was cool and convinced another influencer that it was cool. I just shouldn't say influencer, but like, it's one of those things that I think you either get it or you don't get it. And then it's like, oh, this is a cool thing. So then the cool people, it kind of self-perpetuates. You know what I mean?
I actually do like some of it. I like a lot of the imagery. I love The Simpsons and a lot of these characters that are often depicted. But to me, it's a little too much like, it's kind of tricking us in a way. Take the shape and colors you know and love, but just give it a slight tweak, a slight remix. Put a cigarette in their mouth, and all of a sudden it's edgy now, and it's got like a new flair, and it's got like a new image. That's the X on the eyes. It's like, oh, dead cartoons. It's just like,
it seems very I shouldn't say cash grabby, but it's just very like, and I don't want to say lazy either, but like you said, you could just put it on a license that you know what you're doing. You just put those eyes on a already licensed product, and then it's cause, right? And then boom. Yeah. I did see the thing where they put it in, I think it was the Hong Kong Harbor. He had the big giant
I saw that
thing that just showed up one day, and that was pretty cool. I like when artists do stuff like that, right? The commercialization of an artist is like a one thing, but I like the actual art and performances that he does.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The attraction.
Right.
He made a real attraction, and I think it's excellent when people set up that larger than life type imagery, especially in like big cities. We're lucky to see some of that in Chicago.
Yeah, definitely.
I know I was trying to figure this artist out at one point. He was super into like augmented reality stuff. He had like a lot of his works through some iPhone app where you could like kind of like look at the giant figurines and floating members in your house.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's kind of cool. I don't know.
Maybe
technologically.
Maybe once I get an NFT account and once I get like a 3D like set of eyeglasses, I'll understand what's going on.
Yeah, you just got to get on his level. He's 2031 right now, dude. Man, yeah. It's pretty crazy though. This new future world we're about to delve into without Corona.
Still pretty theoretical.
Yeah, it is.
It's still like after Corona still sounds like when I win the lottery.
AC after
you know?
Corona. Yeah, definitely. No, it is. It's like winning the lottery, and we'll see. Like I don't know. Humans are gonna want to go back to normal. You know what I'm saying?
People are gonna go crazy, man. I can't fucking wait. Yeah. I want to have a podcast with like 15 people in it.
You should. It's just a party. It's just you're podcasting a party, and then people sit down and they chat, and then you can just go to a different section of the party and they're different conversation. Just cut away from one conversation to the next.
Like wait, time out. That's like a different idea. I feel like I do like a roving podcast within a party.
Yeah. I guess that's exactly what I'm saying. And so you have like them, and each people are having conversations. So you zoom in on a conversation, you hear bits of it. But I think the fun part would be like you have to cut, like a party, you don't get everything, so you got to cut away and you don't hear the rest of their conversation, and then you hear another conversation, and then blah blah blah, and then each little pockets, because that's what a party is, right? Pockets of conversation.
God, you just made a way to make parties tax deductible. You are a genius, man. Do you realize that? I could throw these parties
and then turn them into media.
This is footage. This is
footage.
Important.
Yeah. Footage.
But people are so starved of those experiences, those social experiences. That would be like.
And now think about this.
Heaven.
And then you can go back and rewatch it. And then you can go back and see yourself at a party, right? And then you're drunken, conversations with people, and you're like, man, I had such a good talk with, so-and-so. And then you can go back and get a little bit of that, and then see somebody else's parts of their...
Or like we're comparing our audio now versus indoors in the studio versus in the party. We're screaming in the party like, yeah, I know, that's like, I think it's also like when the government decides that it's their place to... Something like that.
I heard all this shit about Dominion voting. You'd have to have one of those like shotgun mics with like the bubbles.
That'd be something.
And you just aim it at the people that you'd be talking to. You could have some like ambient mics to pick up the crowd noise, but you'd have like whoever's on the camera, they'd have a mic that would be just right at the people. And then you'd kind of turn and zoom and it'd be right at the next people.
Or like those ones that like dancing pop artists use, like the ones that come off the...
Everyone's got one, so you'd have like 10 different audio channels.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Or you could still like bust a move and still be like talking and stuff.
Oh God, could you imagine that? People on the dance floor and you just like zoom up and they're just chatting on the dance floor, and then you kind of like zoom back out. Like, that'd be super cool. Yeah. Wow, now I'm really into this half-assed idea that I came up with.
There's something about it. It's just, if you can get that many people together.
Party cast?
Yeah, there's something there. There's definitely something there. How would you... Sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what's the sequence of the party cast?
Oh, that'd be really...
I say you come in through the front door, you go to the coat area, you find maybe you find someone you know.
A couple of highs, hellos. Maybe you find something to drink.
Mm-hmm. Maybe then you take it to the dancing area. Right, you could go through stages.
Mm-hmm. and then you're dancing for a little bit, and then you like go to like the kitchen area where everyone's making drinks, and then you're just conversing with everybody.
The snack table.
Yeah, the snack. You hit up the snack table, and then like towards the end, you like get you get in like a real serious
We're
discussion.
fantasizing about a party. We're actually fantasizing about a party right now.
It's been, you know what? I wouldn't mind going to a party. I wouldn't mind going to a party. It's been,
Jesus.
it's like, I didn't even think about it, but it's been so long since I've been to a party, right?
It's been so long.
Like a real party.
It's been over a year.
Yeah.
It's been over a year.
Yeah. Like a real one too, you know?
It's rare you get a 1 year party drought. I mean,
Man.
unless like, yeah, you turn 35 and your friends start having kids and then people stop having parties. Oh, we've gone a bit. I didn't want to put the hour in. I just wanted to see how it felt after an hour.
Yeah.
So we got there.
Yeah.
We got there. Do you want to keep it going? Should we?
I don't care.
Slice it.
Yeah.
Let's get a small bit extra.
Yeah. Let's
Just
just
a small
like
bit extra.
wrap up this thing with a nice little bow.
Yeah. I might try to post it in 4K, so I don't have to take 8 days to upload. So let's only do another 5 to 10 minutes, maybe.
So we can get it fucking right out there.
Finding the link. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I use that in part because I already had that on my OP1 sampler, so I'm like, I have to reuse this. I pitch shifted it a little this time. It's gonna keep cutting up that voice, man, just
Perfect.
over and over.
Oh my gosh.
I think you gave me even better, cleaner takes today, though. Like
I hope that I could give you at least some good sound bites to use in these.
You did.
You know, that's one job, I guess. Sound bites.
Can we be kind of meta for a second? Like,
Fuck yes.
we did great. This is a good podcast, right?
I mean, if you're asking me.
I'm asking you. We have
Let's
the
ask
opportunity.
the audience. We just there's like 10 people over there all watching us. Yeah, I think we're good, man. I was so nervous, you know what I mean?
It's been a
'Cause
bit.
It's rusty.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I just won't have the same fire or all that, but no, I'm pretty, I think I got, it's good.
It was, and I think something I specifically think we did better now today versus old ones is we went a little slower.
Yeah.
Is the pace was a little bit more calm. Maybe it's because we're unable to speak in an excited fashion because we've been socially,
Our brains are drained.
deprivated.
Oh, I did just hear on the radio that they were talking about all the Zoom calls that people are on, that it definitely does something to their brains. It causes them to concentrate more on calls. So when they go off of a Zoom call and like they drive or something, they find themselves a little bit more confused and they're having issues because it takes so much concentration to be on all these Zoom meeting calls.
Really?
That yes, and it affects younger people more than older people. Just on the way here, I heard that on the radio and I was like, because I do a lot of Zoom calls lately, and like, I mean, I don't know if it affects me, but I'm not usually driving afterwards. But when you're like looking at a bunch of people on the screen, it's,
To me, it makes infinite sense. I mean, you're your own video producer basically on Zoom. And so you're maybe doing your framing. Maybe you're trying to make sure you know something in your teeth so you don't look bad professionally, or like you're just at home stuffing your face or something.
yeah. I definitely like the video preview, and then I like, primp, make sure everything's right, and then go in,
Yeah. Specifically for younger people, it being harder or worse on the temperaments or the attention span of younger people, because they're probably, I don't know, more literate with framing themselves even within the camera. And so they're kind of doing math on how they look. They're doing math on how
So
they
conscious.
sound,
Yeah,
right?
so conscious.
They still can hear as opposed to someone who's older.
It's a performance. When you're on Zoom, it's almost a performance in some ways.
Yeah, it totally is.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah.
you're modeling, not modeling, but like people are looking at you, so you're conscious of it. Whereas when you're just in a regular meeting, people are looking at you, but it's not like you can see them looking at you. So there's an acknowledgement.
Or just the phone, where you just like, you could be
Exactly.
scratching your ass talking on the phone.
And you're in like a Zoom meeting, and there's a gallery view, and you got like 30 people in the room. It's like, wow, one of those 30 people might be looking at me. So let's like, I don't know.
But it's fucking wasted effort, though.
Yeah,
to
it
be
is. A lot of it is.
sitting up straight just so that you could theoretically look good in your thumbnail if you start to speak, or if someone is scrolling through
Yeah.
everyone's video, looking closely.
Christina, our friend, she does a lot of Zoom calls now, and she usually makes herself up from like this up, right? Because that's all you see. Like, so you can wear pajama pants or whatever you want, and as long as like here up looks good and fresh, you're good. You know, it's really interesting. It's super interesting. But
Needed a little bit more time on Zoom to perfect my art. I don't know if I'm used to the podcast setup or what, but I feel
see,
like
the thing with podcasts, though, on Zoom I can see myself, so I know what I'm looking at. When I'm looking right at that camera, I don't know how I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking like. I look like a schlub probably right now.
you don't look like a schlub. You look an anti-schlub.
Anti-schlub.
You actually be able to compare your video to you last year at this exact time.
I know. When I start to work out and get ripped, it'll never happen.
You look good now, though. You do look good now, man.
I'll like to be able to compare like my bloated face versus my face. It's cool. This being like a video journal is also, a highlight of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're a year. It's been what we started. We started in 2019, October 2019, right?
That's right.
So we're a little ways away from there. You know what I'm saying? So we get to look back and be like, wow, I said that. I've been repeating myself this much over this much time.
Yeah.
But,
the time travel element is getting real, though.
dude, it really is.
We're slowly traveling through time together.
And being able to look back on it, though,
Yeah.
in the archives when we're really old and gray, and the family's like, "What were you guys doing back then?" I'll be like, "Well, watch this podcast, talk about all the streaming platforms, and we didn't talk about today." So I was in Apt the other day. I actually was going to text you a picture of this, and I knew you'd appreciate it. And I was just looking at all the new technology stuff, and they have this like goggle setup, right? It looks weird. It's like a set of goggles, and it's got these antennas coming off of it. And you know what it is? It's a viewfinder for your drone. So when you have like the drone camera, it's like a VR setup for your drone. So you just watch where you're at, and you look like you're like a special forces fighter. It's got like these antennas coming off. It's a full headset, so you can sit wherever you want, and you fly your drone around, and you can see exactly what it's seeing and everything.
I think that's the major flyers end up using stuff like that, right? Because you're just totally immersed.
Absolutely.
You end up basically wiring your brain as if the drone is part of it, because like the drone's vision is your vision. Once you compensate enough, right?
Wait till you can like actually get like the 360 view, and then implant that in your brain, and then your brain's gonna look 360 from the drone.
Yeah.
Wait, that's gonna be pretty soon.
Well, how much energy is it going to take from our anxiety if we're like able to have a Google Glass contact lens in, and we can see how we look on camera as we're on camera, almost like we have the Zoom playback.
No, thank
like
you.
in our
Isn't there a
Oculus.
Black Mirror episode like that where you get
Likely.
to go back and look at your footage of yourself because your eyes are always recording? So he goes back into the interview and he thinks he did good, but then he looks at all the people and it's like, oh, I fucked that interview up bad,
I could go for seeing that episode, but lately I've been more on the Steely Dan element of media versus the Black Mirror, because I could use some of the lighter stuff.
Hopeful. Let's be hopeful. Fuck Black. We've just been living a Black Mirror episode. Let's change the channel. I'm ready to change the channel.
All right, I'm changing the channel, Matt. Thank you for coming over.
Bloop. Yep, I'm psyched to be here.
Yeah.
Well, this is the last one we're going to do based on everything we talked about.
Based on the vaccine
so
schedule.
that's how I'm supposed to say goodbye, Till next year.
No, but it's fantastic. We're back again. We're going to start recording more often, right? So no more 5-month gaps.
Tomorrow I'm going to be here again, and then the next day. So we're going to have like 52 episodes in like the next, I should say 365 episodes next year. No.
Yeah, next time we're going to cover, we did Toy Story. We'll do this, I don't know, the Star Wars movies.
Sure.
And
I thought you were going to go, I was going Monsters Inc. But yeah, no, let's do
the
this,
Monsters Inc.
Let's do Star Wars.
Series. Are there 2 of those?
There's 2, and there's going to be more soon.
Quick, what's the second one called?
Monsters University.
Ding, ding, ding. That's right, folks. He's got it. Have a good night. Bye.